Nithyanandam, welcoming all of our viewers watching us live on our various social media platforms, our e-citizens, Kailasa supporters, the devotees, disciples, welcoming everyone to this wonderful segment, welcoming all of you to this very exciting, beautiful segment where we'll be sharing with you about one of the biggest breakthrough, biggest event that Kailasa had participated today. So today, the 17th of February 2024, Kailasa's representatives went to the United Nations Environment Program, headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya, and represented Kailasa's views on environmentalism and climate change and the Hindu principles that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has shared. Kailasa represented Kailasa's views on the environment at the Youth Environment Program in UNEP, Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, and at the same time, this event is actually hosted by the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, which is headquartered in Nairobi. And as part of that, we have the ongoing events that are coming up in the month of February. And this was actually towards the Global Youth Declaration, the GYD. And as part of that, there are various events that are being held. And today, we had represented Kailasa in the UNEP, and it was a wonderful experience for each and every one of us. We thought we would take a few moments to share our experience with each and every one of you. And this GYD is actually a global forum where youth have the voice to say how they want to take forward, what are the policy reforms that are required, and what are the ways we can actually bring in real change for the humanity. And today Kailasa represented in the United Nations Environment Program, the Global Youth Environment Assembly and the Global Youth Declaration as part of the various other events as well. And we had stated and we had presented about Kailasa's statement, Kailasa's representation in the United Nations, and that is what we wanted to share with each and every one of you today. So we'll be sharing what exactly the event was about, and then what was our statement, what was Kailasa's statement, and of course our personal experience as well into this.
So the Global Youth Environment Assembly is a crucial platform that gathers young environmental enthusiasts and policy advocates from around the world to participate in a policy discussion and knowledge sharing. So this year, it will culminate with the formulation of the Global Youth Declaration on Environment, which will be presented in the United Nations Environment Program Assembly, which is just happening in a few days, the 6th session of the UNEA. And the Global Youth Declaration is a pivotal statement poised to represent the collective voice of youth from diverse regions, backgrounds, and perspectives, uniting in a resounding call for effective, inclusive, and sustainable global actions to address climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution.
And in this event, we also had presented about how the very lifestyle, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji, reveals and multiple times emphasizes that it is a lifestyle practice which is what is going to bring in the change. When we work on the inner peace, the outer peace, global peace happens. So today we had presented, as Kailasa's diplomats and ambassadors, we had presented solutions from Hinduism as revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Hinduism, which is the world's most ancient enlightened civilization, and also has the nuances for the most eco-friendly and sustainable ecosystems which are developed and which are actually revived and established. Successful models are established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism all over the world. Today, Kailasa has its footprints in over 150 countries around the world, where we are actively working towards a sustainable environment, a sustainable climate. As we know, there's a lot of climate change and there's a lot of climate crisis that is going on, whether it's with regards to the glaciers melting, whether it's with regards to the wildfires, and so much of natural calamities have been coming in over the last just decade, just over 10 years. We are seeing an all-time high in all different types of natural calamities that are coming in. And Swamiji very beautifully shared about how it is not just about something external, but the collective negativity is rising. And only when we bring in that completion, and only when we follow the principle of Advaita, which is oneness, and Ahimsa, which is the non-violence, it is that which brings inner peace, and that is what is going to bring in the changes outside. So today, Kailasa, each of us, we had voiced our statements in the United Nations, representing about how the faith, about how the Hinduism plays a major role, has always played a major role in a sustainable environment.
I think, like Sundari Sharma was sharing, when we change our inner space, whether even experientially, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism beautifully has initiated us, even in the Gurukul, when we even perform a homa, a fire ritual, invoking Paramashiva and offering the homa to Paramashiva, immediately the rain happens, and wherever there is a drought, or wherever they need rains, or wherever there are wildfires, immediately, just with one intention, by pleasing the gods, by performing the rituals, we're able to bring the rain. Same way, even with the rose plants. I'm sure all of you know that all rose plants have thorns. And just by that space of oneness, when we have that space of peace and the oneness Advaita inside of us, and when we talk to the plant immediately, the rose plant drops its thorns. So all this is not just fiction, or it did not happen, let's say, 10,000 years ago in the Mahabharata, but even today, right now, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived successfully all of these sciences, and we're able to demonstrate it clearly and to tell the huge organizations like the United Nations that it is not just about reducing the carbon footprint, but also every single individual. It is about that conscious breakthrough, the superconscious breakthrough that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been initiating, which is needed for the whole population to raise our consciousness to the next level, where we're able to connect with Mother Nature, not just as a thing, or as a non-living thing, but as a being by itself, whether it is the mountains similar to Mount Kailash, or even our sacred Arunachala, or whether it's the rivers such as Ganga or Kaveri, or whether it is even the trees, as our beautiful Birdi Kalpavriksha and other trees. In every single element of Hinduism, we are able to see that the fundamental thought process, the thought current that we have, is all creatures or living things have Paramashiva inside them, and we are also Paramashiva. So, respecting that we are Paramashiva and everyone around us is Paramashiva, with that cognition, when we automatically live our day to day life, when our lifestyle itself becomes something that we never even think of hurting the nature, hurting climate.
True. And another important thing was when we had pitched this, so we were actually streaming live even at that time. So the UN was also going live. So when we actually had shared about this, when we had pitched this in front of the United Nations Forum, we had a very overwhelming response from the people around about how they are looking at seeing, okay, there is a model which is sustainable, and there is a model which is proven to be successful, not just 1-2 years, but to decades, if not centuries worth of the practice that has been done, and a sustainable living which has been developed through these powerful cognitions, through these spiritual truths that are revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which are decoded from our Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the Vedas and the Agamas. And this was actually very well received, and we had a number of various different organizations, various agencies from the UN with whom they wanted to work along with us to collaborate and to see how we can take this forward. So Kailasa has, today we had entered into some of the cooperation agreements with various special agencies from the UN, and very soon coming forward you'd be seeing and hearing more and more news about how Kailasa is actually involved in the policy making, and the declaration is actually just going to be coming out tomorrow with regards to the youth event. So all of you will get an opportunity to see how the various policies are reforming the current global youth's voice about the sustainable development, the climate change, and a lifestyle. So this, I would say, summarizes about the event as such, like what happened, and with whom we had worked with, and how we are actually going to take things forward. And we did get an opportunity to speak with all the stakeholders. In fact, the stakeholders actually asked for us to come onto the stage and sit in the front rows and share our views and opinions to share about how this actually functions, because we have always seen, because currently we are in a position where we either get sustainability without quality, or if you want to get quality, then you lose on sustainability. But Swamiji has very, very beautifully revealed, and multiple initiatives through the Green Home, whether it is the No Plastic initiative, whether it's an organic farming and gardening initiative, whether it's the Ishanya project initiative, and 108 other initiatives like these. Swamiji has already initiated all of these, and these are successfully running models all over the world. So the entire platform was available, and we were able to share personally how we were able to develop these things as a lifestyle through the guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji.
So before we enter into the next segment, I would like to invite all of you to watch the short clip of Kailasa's statement in the United Nations Environment Program Youth Seminar. All of you can take a watch. My name is Sai Krishna Sairam, the representative from Kailasa, the first Hindu nation as revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. I myself, as a Hindu monk and youth ambassador at large, see the contribution that Hinduism can contribute to sustainability, to tackling the current environment issues. For example, in Hinduism, I'm sure actually we related to many of the points which were shared, similar to how in Hinduism we hold Mother Earth as a goddess herself, and even the herbs, the plants, the mountains, the trees, we respect them as divinity, as divine beings themselves. So having this idea of, like we say, that non-living, it's not just a non-living thing, it does have divinity inside it. And in Hinduism, we have the principle of Advaita, which basically says that every single thing in front of us, every being in front of us, every living creature, we are all connected. So with that concept, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been continuously advocating, whether it is in the temples, the place of worship of Hindus, or the various ecosystems and various monasteries that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has created, making sure that we are completely adhering to not using plastic, using only organic materials, using materials which are only contributing for the nature, and even reusing. Currently, we see that whether it is food being dumped in the oceans or even clothes being dumped in the oceans, we have a beautiful project of the Ishanya where we're able to recycle those clothes and give it to the people in need, give it to the communities in need instead of just throwing them, which is also being a hazard for the environment. So yes, I'm able to see how we can contribute. And even in our day-to-day practice, like one person had shared that even water is sacred. When we offer the worship daily, even in Hinduism, it is every single material that we use, it is actually grown, whether it is the herbs that we use for the rituals or whether it's the plants, the flowers that we offer during the Hindu rituals. It is all contributing and making sure that every single step that we take towards our faith also is intricately combined with making sure that we are contributing to Mother Earth, we are contributing to the ecosystem, to the environment around us, and therefore promoting sustainability. So thank you. This is just a point I would like to share. As all of you have seen the statement of Kailasa, which was greatly appreciated by the United Nations and also accepted by the United Nations. For me, as sannyasi, as the ambassador of Kailasa, the personal experience that I would like to share of this event is, of course, as a delegate of Kailasa, as an ambassador, it is that powerful inner image that Swamiji beautifully initiates us into to represent Kailasa as a nation, to represent the best that Hinduism can offer, which Swamiji is bringing out through Kailasa, whether it is these environmental policies, whether it is the way, the lifestyle of Hinduism. So when we share all of the lifestyle, for us, for example, if we are offering puja every day, and of course, if in your house, if you're doing the puja every day, you will have a small Nandavanam, the garden, to grow flowers. And uh, you might think, oh, it's a small thing that I'm growing flowers and I'm offering puja. But just imagine if all 2 billion Hindus do the same, and not just restricting to the 2 billion Hindus, if all the population is able to inculcate the beauties of Hinduism in their daily lifestyle. It is not just, sometimes we feel, we take it for granted, I guess, that when we hold these beautiful sentiments towards Mother Nature in our day to day life, in our day to day, whether puja or as a practicing Hindu, even when you worship the Bidadi Banyan tree, the Kalpavriksha, you take it for granted that, oh, it's my daily worship, it's my daily puja. But actually, if you see, it is such a overwhelming principle for the people, for the others who are not practicing. And when you actually explain to them, it is the astonishment and it is the excitement that you see in their face, you see in their expression, that you know that, okay, it is such a beautiful tradition that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived, and it makes you feel that even a small puja that you offer every day is actually such a big step in contributing to the environment, contributing to just appreciating that every single being is Paramashiva. So it is just that the more and more that you interact with the normal other intergovernmental agencies, with organizations, with member states, it is that inner image that you carry. It literally grows exponentially, where you're able to see how much the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, just by your daily lifestyle, has enriched your life, which they're also able to recognize now.
True. And just like how Tattva Maharaj was sharing, like for me in my personal experience, I just wanted to take a little different take on this, because I feel like he has already addressed that aspect of how this is being perceived by the people, right? For me, I personally wanted to share about the other dimension, where it is like who I was, okay, the ideas that we carry about ourselves, or the idea that I carried about myself, and versus what Swamiji has raised me through the powerful cognitions. Yes, I've been in the Nithyananda Gurukul for over the last, I've grown up in the Nithyananda Gurukul over the last 10 years. I've been with Swamiji for the last, I think now it's 12, 13 years now, with Swamiji as a Balasant growing up. And the very ideas, if I have to just compare myself with, what I was earlier, or what I would have been if at all I didn't get this opportunity, is incomparable. Because even in the remotest corners of my thought, I would not have even thought about coming and representing Kailasa on an international forum or in the United Nations. Leave apart United Nations, even a person who would be voicing or taking these kind of discussions or taking these things forward. But it was, I would say, completely everything end to end, directly personally trained, micromanaged by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji. Right from the way we are getting dressed to the way what we're going to be speaking, everything is directly micromanaged by Swamiji himself and trained. And through that, we are actually able to see what kind of effort and what kind of the personal connection that Swamiji has, that Swamiji pours his life into each and every one of us. It is something that each and every one of us have to experience. You know what the great news is? The great news is that each and every one of you can get to be part of these international events.
Yes, so as Sundar Sharma was saying, I think what the highlight of the whole event is our dress. So when they see the Tirumala Vargavedam, when they see the traditional Hindu attire, everyone is like, wow, it is, you guys are so beautiful. The dress is just so elegant. And I think that is one of the experiences.
I guess like nobody especially when it comes about dress, this is one thing we hear wherever we go, because nobody is proud to have their tradition. And this is something that has been instilled by Swamiji into every one of us so deep and so strong, to be proud about who we are, what our culture is. And this is something that everyone recognizes wherever, despite wherever we go. Like in a current society where everyone has a stereotypical way of dressing, to say, okay, this is the way you need to dress, this is the way you need to look. When that kind of an atmosphere is there, an ecosystem is there, but at that time, we represent Kailasa in all its glory. We represent Hinduism, the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, in all its glory, and that itself is a point that people take away, and they're like, wow, you guys are representing who you are very boldly, and that's who we are. So that is something, just like how Tattva Maharaj was sharing, that is something that we get, like even this time when we went, all people are around sitting and taking photographs, coming in, trying to understand who we are, what we are, and how we are able to do. Because about like a few hundred people were there, and just the four of us completely standing out from the entire crowd, right from the way we looked itself. And that strength of inner space that it gives, that Swamiji has instilled into each and every one of us, and that recognition that you also receive from people around you, that kind of is a whole different feeling altogether. As Tattva Maharaj is sharing, it's the inner image that we carry about us. That inner image takes us all the way somewhere else. And once again, you all have this opportunity. Every one of you can actually be part of these international events, because there are various international events that are coming throughout the entire year, and we have the scroll that is being projected for every one of you, where you can actually register to be part of these events. We will take on the training, we'll train you into whether it is the ideas that we are supposed to carry, or how we are supposed to represent, and the entire training we will be providing for every one of you. And you can sign up to be part of various events. So it is ecitizen.info /WEF. If you would like to take part in these global events, if you would like to first-hand experience these, the powerfulness about who we are, please make sure that you are registering yourself at ecitizen.info /WEF, and we shall reach out to you. We will connect with you to share the various opportunities that are available, and you can see how you can be a part of these activities and these possibilities which are there.
So stay tuned. We'll be posting many more updates, many more posts, photographs, statements, declarations on our engagements with the United Nations. We are working very closely with the United Nations Environment Program, and showing the best that Kailasa can collaborate with the United Nations Environment Program to make sure that the whole world is having the Hindu environmental policies, which is the best environmental policy, one of the best environmental policies. So stay tuned. We'll be posting many live updates and calling out to all the Digimahans and the digital ecosystems to share it widely and tell the whole world about the best the Hinduism can offer and the sciences revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and being practiced by Kailasa, the First Nation for Hindus, the sovereign state of Hindus.
Yes, and there are actually some questions which are being posted asking, is there like any qualification which is required for becoming or being part of this event or being part of the training? You do not need to have any qualifications or anything of as such. We will provide you with the required training. We'll be sharing further details about how and where you could be part of these events. There are various events, as I mentioned. So you can just sign up, whoever you are. We shall reach out to you, no matter your age, no matter your location, no matter where you are. If you are interested and you would like to experience this first-handed wherever you are, we will take care of the training, we will help you, and we will guide you through the whole event and through the whole training aspect of it, and for you to experience this firsthand, representing Kailasa on the global forum. So once again, reaching out, calling out to all the Sarvanya Pita Yajamans, all the Sarvanya Pita Kartas, the manifestors all over, and also all the devotees, disciples, every one of you who are watching us live from around the world. Please take this time to register yourself and be part of this event. You can register yourself at ecitizen.info /WEF. We're continuously posting the scroll below, and make sure that you're not missing out on this opportunity and jump into it. It is something that you need to experience at least once in your life. So make sure you enter into it, and we shall see you join us soon for these various events that are there. Thank you.